Hello. When we think about broadcast video cameras, we often think about stuff like this, and I've featured this sort of thing before. It's a digital Betacam, tape-based broadcast camcorder. Uses tapes like this. But the world did move on from tape to a disc-based system, similar but not compatible with Blu-ray. It was called XDCAM. I've always wanted an XDCAM machine, but they're still stubbornly expensive and I can't seem to find one.
Special delivery.
Ooh, that's rather nice, isn't it? I wonder what's on this. I was expecting something much bigger, actually.
Something like this.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's bigger. So we have two XDCAM machines to play with.
We've got this too.
Okay, we have three XDCAM machines to play with. Let's get stuck in. Okay, so what we have here is XDCAM, I think, that records onto discs known as professional discs. Let's have a look. So we have lots of these professional discs, very heavy, and a player. Oh, it looks like it takes the same battery as my big digital Betacam camcorder. And a test recording, that'll be handy. So let's see what connectors we have. Around the back, just an on-off switch. On the side, here we go. SDI out, so that we can connect to our SDI capture, and an audio and composite video out. Monitor, which is RGB connector. Firewire and network port, and a reminder to power off for Firewire. I've never powered stuff off to plug Firewire cables in, but maybe in this case I should. Push to open. I'm pushing, but nothing's opening. Oh, there we go. Right. There's something underneath the display there. But Grot's managed to get inside the screen to the display. But this is the viewer anyway. Now this is described as a recorder, but there's no record button. So it's SDI out only. So I believe this can record via Firewire, but then that's only recording DV, which you could use a DV deck for, it'd be cheaper than this, and network, and then I think it can record in higher data rates than just DV. Right, let's just pop a battery on this. Oh, we've got a mains input. Okay, let's use a mains input. It'll be even easier. See, some of the paint has sort of fallen off the top here. So it's professional disc recorder PDW-V1. We'll power it up. Switch it on at the back. Oh, it's already on. On-off switch here. Aha. Okay, test recording. Seeking at Shuttleworth. Approximately 11 minutes. Am I doing this correctly? It sounds like a DVD player. Aha. And we're rolling. And we have VU meters on the LCD. Okay, look, it says DV cam there. So that means it's a DV recording. So even though it's all very professional, in the end it's recording the same resolution as a mini DV camcorder. Right. But it is rewritable, but we'll not write on this one again. We use one of the other discs, and we'll see if we can make a test recording via the Firewire port. Okay, I was having a bit of trouble connecting up to the computer upstairs in the workshop. So we're here in the studio with one of my slightly newer machines. So I've just got it plugged in via the Firewire port here. And it recognises it as a Firewire device. It's fired up an old version of Pinnacle Studio, and I can start capture, I think. That didn't start the deck for some reason. If I flick this switch here, it says network local remote. Flick that to remote. Maybe I can start capture that way. Yes, that works. So it started on this screen and it's capturing it. This particular recording I think is DV cam, So it's just seeing it as a normal DV-CAM device. That's pretty good. Now, if this had been one of the other recording formats, I don't think it would have worked. I don't know, maybe to convert it to DV-CAM, not certain. But that's good enough for now. So we have a small clip there, complete with sound. Let's try now to record that onto another disc. So I'm ejecting this one. And there's an option here which I have used before to make tape onto DV camcorder. Settings. Automatically start and stop. Okay. And it says now press play on here and it should record on here. Not so much. So it's playing it on the computer, but nothing's being recorded here. So that's working as a playback device at the moment, but there are drivers that can be downloaded for this. It's called FAM, Sony FAM XDCAM driver. Let's try those. Generally not tried that yet. So it's not seeing any XDCAM drive, even though clearly I have an XDCAM drive connected because it saw it on my other software. Do I have the wrong version of software for this? So it would appear that I was using the wrong software. I was using much later software. The software released for this dates back to 2010 and insists on rebooting the machine after it's been installed. So I've done that. Let's see where we are now. So we have 3 pieces of software: PDZ1, direct mode and proxy viewer. I don't know what the differences are. Let's see if any of them will contact the machine. We'll put the disk in that has a recording and see if the software can access that. Okay, so the Pinnacle Studio software can see this machine. I can't get any of the Sony software to do anything with it. It might be that I'm just doing it wrong, but the XDCAM drive utility I think is for newer equipment. The PDZ1 software I think is correct, but it's just not at all clear how it connects to the machine, and it isn't presently connected to anything. I think the proxy viewer is just for viewing files, so I don't think that's relevant to what we're trying to do. And the direct mode, well, maybe that should connect, but it's just not. It also has the ability to do FTP connection via the network port, and maybe that would be more successful. But that's not what I'm going to look at right now because, you know, I've spent enough time on this and there is more XDCAM equipment to play with. So we'll stop at that point and look at some of the other things. So we're back upstairs in the workshop and I've unpacked the other 2 boxes, and we have 2 PDW 1500 XDCAM machines and a big pile of more discs, more than I'll ever be able to use, I think. So let's try these out. This has got power off of Firewire written on it and this one hasn't. I'm not sure if they both work. So this one seems to have a slightly loose panel. Is that intended? Don't think that's supposed to be quite like that. That doesn't seem that well secured for professional equipment, does it? Alright, let's power them up and see what they do. Get these out of the way. So what do we have? Video in and out connectors, including superimpose, mono audio out, some balanced in and out, digital audio, AES-EBU, SDI in and out, most important, time coding, power, network port again, remote control, and Firewire. So we have everything we could ask for here. Let's plug it in and just see if we can get it to play on our composite video monitor, which would be monitor out there and video out there with the superimpose. We'll do that. Since we couldn't get Firewire to work on this particular workshop computer earlier, I'm sure Firewire won't work on these either up here. We'll have to try it downstairs. But Firewire's a bit irrelevant anyway. I'll be using SDI in and out on these machines. Got a red light on here, and that's just about all. Oh, flashes green. Oh, there we are. Welcome. Call up the menus. Error 91-215 is all we seem to get on this one when I power it up. Try that again. Is that switch not latching in, or do I have to hold it in? You have to hold it in. And it's just switched itself off again. Feels like this switch is not latching properly, possibly due to damage on the front panel. So I'll hold it in. Is it supposed to latch on? Yes, I think so. Error 91-215. That's not very encouraging, is it? Let's try the other one. If I missed a master on-off switch at the back, that's better. Try again. Oh, that looks a lot happier. Let's try the disc in it. No disc. How do I insert a disc? Ah, push fairly hard, I think is the answer to that. Press play. And that's working beautifully. And if I go into some menus on here, can I do that? Menu. Oh, here we go. Laser hours. 539, I think it's saying. So operating hours are some 14,000. Laser hours resettable 141. This all feels very similar to Betacam. And you can do 525, 625. And again, it's going to be the same way as something like a J3, where you select that to yes, to on, and then you tell it you want to switch over and switch it over, and then it tells you to power cycle it, and then it's switched over to 525 or 625. Record format by default is DVCAM mode, but you can clearly change that to other things. Set. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Record format. How do I change it? DVCAM. There we go. We can go the IMX 50 or 30 megabits per second, or back to DVCAM. So that's all pretty familiar to anyone who's used DigiBeta and similar. Let's put the blank disk in. It's not going to ask us to format the disk or anything, is it? No. It's ready to record 87 minutes. Okay, so I could take this one down to the machine that has the SDI connections and see if we can pull data off and put it back on using SDI serial data link. Okay, we're back in the studio. I've connected the working PDW1500 to the SDI input of this AGA, well, this is a breakout box, but it's an AGA Kona 4 inside the computer. So we will see if we can see that as an SDI device. So the control panel here says that I have a device detected on number 2 input, which is correct. How do I actually start recording anything? Okay, we have a route for capture, but I keep on having problems with the sound popping, I think. So I probably just need a better quality cable, but that's working. We'll stop it here. So it doesn't automatically control the machine. But now let's see if we can edit to tape. We'll put the blank disc in for this. Right, I need to select here, I think. Input select, and I need to select that to be not iLink, but here we go, input iLink, SDI, composite, an SG signal generator. Okay, so we'll go SDI. For this, I think I need to move the SDI link to one of the outputs, SDI 3 of the breakout box. That's ready to record as soon as I can tell the software what I want to record. Offline media, come on, make the media online. Now I think I'm recording. I'll stop that. Well, in theory that's working. I'm not sure I managed to record anything. I'll do some more experiments and see if I can record through SDI onto this recorder and hopefully make up myself a new test disc. Well, despite my best efforts, I couldn't get the software to write anything out to this recorder. I have ordered a DB9 to DB9 cable which will allow the serial link to work, but that's just for the controls. I think it should have written out to the machine regardless of whether it could access it by remote control. But what we're going to do instead, this is the player. So I've got the SDI out of that connected to SDI in of the recorder, and we can monitor it on here. This is connected to the recorder. So let's power this up and see what happens now. Right, we have the blank disc in the recorder and the test disc going into the player. Okay, well that's working. You can tell that's working. So that's set to SDI input. This is very loose. This is really bad design, this front panel. Okay, so I should be able to simply record on here and play on there. I didn't press start because I had this in remote mode. So let's do that again. How do I raise this disc, I wonder, with all these messed up recordings? Thumbnails. Oh look. How do I just say delete it? So I can see all these thumbnails. Clip menu. Delete clip. Aha. Shift and reset. Oh good, I've worked it out. That's working. Well, it seems to be, but there's sound on these VU meters, but I'm not seeing any sound on here, so I haven't got the audio set up properly. Stop that then. What am I doing wrong? We've got input select video and input select audio. I think I've got that right now. I'd press the input channel button and then the input select, and that seems to be working in stereo now, so we'll stop that, get back to the beginning and do that again. I want to wipe the thumbnail again, don't I? I'm another aborted thing, so where's the thumbnail button again?
Delete it.
Right. There must be a way of getting this to drive this so that it records it properly in one go. Possibly with the serial cable I don't have, so I'll just do it manually. Now I have audio as well. So what I had to do is set the input selector here, that's in record mode, can't change it now, but the input selector had to be SDI on the top, and channels 3 and 4 here are analog, so it's channels 1 and 2 are SDI channels 1 and 2. What I'm not quite so sure about is why the playback minutes and seconds here are so completely different to the recording minutes and seconds. Okay, sometime later, let's just check that we can play that disc that I've recorded on here. Disc end. Yes, okay. Go back to the beginning and play it. Right, so we have our recording and sound, and of course that will be a perfect copy It's gone DVCAM to DVCAM format. So I believe that will be a lossless transfer from the original disc onto this one. I've managed to get an error out of this one, but this was kind of user error, because what I've done is switch the machine over to 525 line while it's got this disc in here that it's got 625 line recordings on it, or PAL, and so it can't mix them on the disc. So it says I can't play that, I can't record it, I can't do anything with it, because we have a mismatch between this being now set to 525 and the disc being 625. So I could, I think, put a fresh disc in and make up an NTSC test recording. So I can make a 525 recording, and it gives you two 525 options in the menu for setting the line rates. It's 525U and 525J, because Japan uses a subtly different, I think is it the black level subtly different? I've got it written down somewhere. So you can set it up for Japan or USA mode. This is set to USA mode. Right, switch it back again then. So we go to menu, move it across to the 525, 625 set, then press shuttle, move that to on, which means we can now change it if we press the set button. Then .625, see there's 525U and J, 625, set, and now it'll want us to power cycle. And then it'll be good for PAL again. One thing I'd like to try, this is the battery that I've got on my digital BetaCam camcorder. Let's, oh, I'd have to switch it on, I think. Give that a whirl. So now we actually get to use the battery meter. I wonder how long that would run on there. Quite a long time, I suspect. The consumption shouldn't be that high. So that would make it a useful field player. If you're recording on XDCAM camcorders, you can monitor your footage and indeed import it into some sort of system via SDI with this. Now, a moment ago I was copying the data from my test disk onto the recorder, so I have a test disk. And of course I also showed that it can do the signal generator recordings as well, but it would be trivial to connect that to a digital BetaCam machine and dub from digital BetaCam onto that as well. Right, the thing I'd like to do lastly, I think, is have a look at this defective machine. Should we do some panel swapping to see if we can work out where the problem lies? Well, let's have another look at it. Right, we'll power it up and see if we get anything on the screen. Error 91-215, and nothing on the screen at all. I can't pull up any menus or anything else. So this error apparently means there's a communication failure between the syscon and the keyboard, which might be something to do with this front panel all coming apart. Maybe nothing to do with that at all. Let's take it apart and see what we can find out. More precisely, it says it's key control CPU on the U1 KY624 board detects interruption in communication with the system control CPU. Two stacked boards here with flexi cables down to a much larger board on the bottom. So that's the larger board there, which runs the whole length of the machine. There's another one underneath the deck and another very large one which also has daughter boards and at least one more at the bottom of the machine. So there's a lot of electronics in here. Since this front is trying to fall off, I think I'll take it off and let's see if that can at least let us see the front of the machine. A little bit of dust, but actually the boards are not there, they're all further in. So this just needs attaching better. I dare say there's some broken clips somewhere. I see it has the same kind of battery and timekeeper in there. I don't know if you can quite see that. That yellow device there, as is fitted to the XDCAM SR machine I was working on a little while ago. I see there are actually some buttons in here. One's labelled power, another's a soft reset, and the other's not marked. And there's a couple of ports at the bottom there, the JTAG and debug for testing. Let's do that power button, see what that does. Probably just the same as the front panel button. I pressed and held the power button, but something changed, but it didn't get us anywhere. The display went off for a moment. Yeah, if I press and hold either of those power buttons, the display all goes off except the error number. Oh, error 95-101, slightly different error message. Is that 101? Yes. Which does not appear to be listed in the maintenance manual. I believe there's a coin cell battery behind here. I'll just check the condition of that one. 3 volts, nothing wrong with that. There are 3 more buttons hiding here. There's a power and 2 reset buttons in there. Well, I guess it would do no harm to try them. They do nothing at all. Right, here's my thought processes so far. We have shown that the front panel must be connected in some way to the buttons in here, because pressing those buttons had an effect on the front panel. So I'm going to say that the front panel is connected properly to that board, and that board is working. It's complaining about Syscon. Now, I haven't gone into exactly what board is what yet, but Syscon would typically be controlling the deck electronics, so it would be this board here probably, right underneath the deck. So if that is defective, the whole Syscon has died, or the board is gone, or there's a capacitor problem in there somewhere, then that's going to be extremely hard to debug. It's not like I can just whip that board out quickly and try it in the other machine. But I don't think it's worth worrying about the front panel into the machine. I don't think that's where our problem lies. It's the front panel communications with Syscon, so I blame Syscon. Which makes it not worth fixing as it stands, because the risk of taking everything apart to swap panels out for the other machine is just not worth it. There are a lot of surface mount electrolytic capacitors in these machines, but is this made new enough that it was past the worst of the plague of those terrible capacitors? Maybe, maybe not. Now, the service manual I've been looking at has been the PDW HD 1500. This is the PDW 1500, so it's not quite the same machine. That's the one that obviously supports HD, and this is standard definition only. There were also versions made that could handle multi-layer discs, I think up to 4 layers, and I believe this is single layer only. So because this does not support all the variants of XDCAM, it's a bit unfortunate that I could say, oh great, I support XDCAM transfers, and then I get discs sent to me that this machine won't support. But it's useful at least to be able to support some variants of the XDCAM format. Right, I hope you've enjoyed what we've done today. This defective machine is just going to stay as a spare parts machine for the time being. I'll do plenty more content on audio and video technology in the future. Bye for now.